So what now? You're in the planner community. You've been on Planner Talk. You've seen all the things. You've seen the pretty dashboards. You've seen the pretty planner pages and inserts, pins, stickers. Now what? What do you do? How do you get to point A to point B? And I'm here to show you. So if you will be interested, you're new to the planner community and you want to know how to get there, I'm Yoshida. I'll be helping you out. And here at the Cove, we like to budget and plan in confidence using a planner. So let's get started. Okay, you guys. So today's part 2 of our series, New to Planning, and I'm your guide. I'm here to help. So, you guys, I wanted to talk about, I got asked, and that's one of the reasons for this whole series, was how to format a planner. We're going to talk about, I'm using my business planner as our guide today, plus along with my budget planner, because these planners are set up perfect for me. And I wanted to show you how I got here and how you can as well get here as far as setting up a planner. When you're formatting your planner, you want to be very intentional. And what I mean by being intentional is you want the planner to flow. You want the planner to work for you. You don't want it to just be pretty. Pretty is just a bonus. Cute is just a bonus as well, but you want it to work for you. So I'm using my business planner because I finally got it right. Now, you may not get yours right on the first time, because I surely didn't. I wanted all the things when I got into the planning community. All I knew was stickers. I knew I needed a monthly. I knew I needed a weekly, and I sticker. We're going to talk about stickers possibly in part 3, part 4, but today we're talking about formatting the planner. But before you get to all the stickers and all of that, you need to know how to format your planner. When formatting your planner, I suggest dividers. Dividers will be like the first thing that you put into your planner. Dividers are sections in your planner. Just like a book or a good novel, you have your table of contents, you have your chapters. Let's consider dividers as chapters. So what chapter in your book of life, which is your planner, will you be using? So I start with an inbox. A lot of people like to take an inbox. I'm going to show you. It says inbox. A lot of people like to have their inbox section in the back. Now, what is an inbox? An inbox section is, to me, the way I describe it, is things to come. What do you have on your to-do list that can be moved other places in your planner? We'll go more into depth in that in part 3. So your dividers are going to tell the story of how you want your book to look or your planner to look. Again, please be intentional with this. Now, you may not need an inbox. Some people have an outbox. I don't have an outbox because I know I don't need it. I know I'm not going to use it. I considered it, but I'm like, I don't need it. I barely use inbox. But I do use my inbox, as you can see. Now, with an inbox, you have different dividers. You have different dashboards that help you hold the things that you need to get done that may need to be moved to other sections or to your daily plans or to your weekly plans. As you can see, I have several because I have a lot of things that need to be done. This is my business planner, so there's a lot of things that kind of rotate throughout my inboxes. Okay. When you have the inbox section, if you choose to do so, I have a task manager in mind, which is inserts. We're going to briefly go over this because this is in part 3. But when setting up your planner, again, you need these dividers, you need these chapters in your planner to show you how to guide you throughout your plans in your life. So we're going to skip over inserts because we're going to get back to that. We're also skipping over dashboards today. We are talking about dividers and setting up this planner. So my next one is my goals section. You may not be interested in goals. You may not have any goals. You just say, hey, I don't need that section. But of course, according to each section, that's where your inserts will come in. And the insert should work for you, okay? But again, we'll touch on inserts later because right now we're just talking about formatting the planner. And in my opinion, to format a planner, it starts with the dividers. When choosing your dividers, you want to choose what sections you know you're going to use. So dividers, if you're new to come to the community, dividers are like just tabs here that separates one section from the next, okay? And like I said, each divider that you have in your planner, it should be purposefully put in here and intentionally put in here. Again, I chose to use my business planner because this is the most purposeful planner probably that I have, okay? We'll get into dashboards and all of that later, once, like I said. So my next section I have is monthly. I'm a monthly girl. I need a monthly calendar. I prefer a 2-page calendar, but for my business planner and to cut down on space, I chose a 1-page section. Well, excuse me, a 1 month on a page calendar this year because I'm not as busy as I was last year in my business, so that's why I have the 1 month on a page. So I like to format my planner with starting with the inbox, a monthly section, and then there are monthly dividers as well that you can separate your months. Now, you can have all 12 months. It just depends on your planning style. We'll also get into that in part 3 and part 4. Depending on your planning style, you may just do monthlies and just need all of them here. Me, for this planner, I only do 3 at a time, a quarter at a time. I work in quarters. So that's how I have mine set up, okay? And again, we'll get into all the pretty dashboards, all the prettiness. We're skipping over that, but I just wanted to show you setting up your planner. So after my monthly, in my mind, again, this is just my opinion, I look at it as yearly, monthly, weekly, daily. Okay? Besides the inbox, I start with inbox, yearly, monthly, weekly, and daily. Then we get into other sections. So we're leaving monthly. We're going into my next section is my weekly. So if you are choosing to plan weekly, I would highly suggest the weekly section because things come up during the week that you may need to jot down, or there's plans. There's always something going on in a week. I claim I don't have a social life, but I do things weekly, and some of them are repetitive, but they need to be put down as a reminder in my in my weekly plans. Okay, as I stated before, we've done yearly, inbox, yearly, monthly, and then weekly. And then next is your daily section. And so for here, I have a tab up top. Now that's another thing. There's top tabs, bottom tabs, and side tabs or dividers. Some people call them tabs or dividers. So you can choose, if you don't want them sticking out on the side, you can choose to get them on the top or on the bottom, however you like. But to create more sections, a lot of people do both or all 4. They'll do top, bottom, and sides to get more sections if you are busy. But to me, if you have a busy lifestyle, then that's when all of those will come in. If you're just new and you're just testing the water, I would just suggest side tabs or top tabs or top dividers. So my next section is, it says schedule, but this is a quote-unquote weekly plan, so that's why that's there. And then this is my actually weekly. But again, we'll get into all of the inserts later. And then, like I said, next up is my daily. So we're leaving from weekly to daily. Now, I'm going to back up just a little bit because I want to make sure that I'm being clear. You'll see some people format their planner where they'll have their monthly, their weekly, and they may have daily in another section, but their monthly and their weeklies are kind of combined together. Some people like to go from their monthly into their weekly. So let's go back. So let's say we're here in March. So what a lot of people like to do is like flip straight from their monthly into a weekly right behind their monthly. That way they can work their weeks, so they'll have all 4 or 5 weeks right after. That's a great idea if that's you, if that's the type of planner that you'll be. But again, you don't really know what kind of planner you're going to be. You just know you like the things. So the formatting of the planner is to help you know, kind of figure out what kind of planner will you be, okay? So we're out of weekly and we're into daily. This is my daily side tab. There's also things like page markers. This is a page marker. You can, and as you can see, it's a ruler on one side. It snaps in, and it helps you to find your place in your planner. So if you know, hey, I go to my dailies all the time, you might want to put this here. This will get you to your daily quicker. So you can see that from the top. Some people have theirs labeled. So let's say I want to get to my daily, and I know that my daily is here. All I have to do, if my planner was closed, and I say, hey, I need to get to my daily. I got so much stuff in here. Boom, here I am. I'm at my daily, just like that. I have one here in my weekly. I just made this. It's just a vellum, vellum paper, and I just made it into one of those so I can get to my weekly. So a lot of people do that as well. So you have those to go in your planner. All right. So we're going for my daily. And then this is where it gets interesting. Some people, you can stop right here, okay? A lot of people like notes. I love notes, okay? I'm very much so a notes girl. I love note paper. But I like it in the back of my planner. So here in the business planner, my next section is my social media section. Again, this is my business planner, and we get right into social media. Okay, I have all of my social media inserts in here. This is actually my favorite section of my planner. Besides my weekly, my social media section, I love it. Now, we're not discussing inserts right now, but I'm going to show you guys something. Let me kind of cover it up, but this is how I've planned this series. I planned it here in my planner. It's in the back. I can get to it. And another thing that you can do when formatting your planner, it's a little later down the line, but when you decide upon your inserts that you want to do, you can use page flags to also get you there to that section without having to make another divider. I hope I'm making sense, okay? And then let's switch up out of here. This is my social media section. I also have another kind of inbox dashboard, but it's within this section, if that makes sense. Okay, and so here's those bottom tabs that I was telling you about. And I believe this is just my note paper section. No, this is my project section. I haven't labeled it yet, but it's a bottom tab so that I didn't have to fill out all of these on the side. So next we get into, I believe, our finance section. I had it labeled, but I think it came off there. But this is my finance section. I like my finance section in the back of a particular, any planner that I'm using. So this is my business planner. I just like it in the back. I do the same with my everyday carry, which we talked about in the beginning, and you guys saw that it was in the back of my planner. For some reason, that's the way my mind works. For you, you may want to put your finance section in the front of your planner. You may want it in between each month. You may want it in between each week. However, whatever works for you, the way your mind works, but that's the best way to kind of format your planner. Now, the next section I have is the notes and lists. You can kind of see that here. And I have just meeting notes, pages, paper, and then some task list papers, wish lists, all that. Again, we'll go into inserts and all of that in another part. And that's the end of my planner, my business planner. She looks thick, but let me promise you, as you can see, every page that I flip to, there's writing on it. That's because it gets used. And that's why I wanted to use this planner to show you guys about formatting your planner. There's not a page in here that's empty because I formatted this planner. It took me a minute to get it just right, but I formatted this planner to work best for me and my business. So when you're formatting your planner and you're putting your planner together, I'm gonna take her out for a second if I can. When you are setting up your planner, it's nice. If you like me and you like a chunky planner, I love a chunky planner, but there's nothing in here that's not being used. All of this is useful. When you're setting up your planner, you want to be intentional. You want to only put in the dividers, the side tabs, and all of this stuff here if you need it. Don't just go looking at another planner's planner and thinking that, hey, that's going to work for you. Trust me, it may not. I've tried inserts because someone said, hey, I like this insert and it worked. I may have tried the insert and it didn't work for me. You know, even down to dashboards, dividers. Like, I'm really not a big on monthly dividers in my planner, but in my business planner, it works. Because again, in my business, I work in quarters. Now, for my everyday carry, you'll probably never see them. But that's why you have, let me show you. I have these, and these are called cover pages. So I have a cover page for the month, but I don't necessarily need these, the dividers. But again, you're going to have to, when you're formatting your planner, you're going to have to format it just for you, your style. I don't care if it doesn't look like everyone else's. It's for you. And it took me a minute to kind of get that. That's why I said I would never go back to TNs, because I was following other people and what they were doing, and I realized I didn't even like them, but I thought I loved it. I was in love with the TN, but when everyone switched, I switched. And then it got to the point where I was like, what do I like? You know, and then that's when I set up my planner. I even did a consultation on setting up this planner through Cloth and Paper, and it was great. Aisha did really great with helping me with that. But it wasn't bad. It was great. I enjoyed the consultation. I had things in here that worked for me, but then my planner just kind of sat. And so I had to ask myself, why is my planner sitting? Why am I not using this business planner? So I would only use a couple of sections, and it was pretty. You know, everything looked good. I did everything that she said do, but I just kind of fell off of looking at the planner or going into my business planner. And then one day I just decided to kind of take what she taught me and then put the things in here that really, really worked for me. And so I basically added on to what she had, the information that she gave me, and I made it my own. So you can do consultations on setting up your planner and how it'll work for you. They are very useful. I'm not saying that they aren't, but at the end of the day, you can take that information, but you also need to add your own things that will make you happy in your planner, that make you want to revisit your planner. And I highly believe that formatting your planner correctly, it'll make you stay consistent in your planner. So if you're one of those people who do not go through a whole year of looking at your planner or being in a planner, I was her. Okay, hello, I was her until I found the community and I learned how to format my planner correctly, and that I'll stay consistent in here. Now, yes, last year was the first time in about 6 years that I did not stay consistent, but that's because I had a whole lot going on. It was not because I didn't have the correct things in my planner. It was just me. I just had too much going on. I still use my planner, but I was only using a certain section of it. I couldn't do nothing else, okay? But I say all that to say, when you are setting up your planner, you want to make sure that you're buying. That's another thing. Don't buy something because you see someone else have it and it's cute. You want to buy it if it's going to work for you. Now, we're talking about covers and things like that. Now, if there's a cover and you like that cover, that's fine. But you're going to find yourself with so many. After a while, you're going to have so many covers because you saw this cover, but that has really nothing to do with formatting. But once you pick out a great cover and you got your dividers, that is my advice. My top advice is get the correct dividers, because this is the book of your life. I'm just being all serious. This is the book of your life. This is where you run your life. It's like your assistant or your manager of your life. That's what a planner is. That's what my planners are. This business planner, it is my manager. Like I showed you guys in my social media section, if I can find it again. Here it is. She helps me plan social media content. She helps me plan YouTube content, like this series I'm planning. I had another series that I was just doing on Instagram. This helps me. So I highly suggest, write down. I hope you got a pen and a piece of paper. And I want you to take a pen and a piece of paper, and I want you to write down your life. And what I mean by that is I want you to write down everything that you do on a daily basis, a weekly basis, a monthly basis, and a yearly basis. And this is how you're going to kind of format your planner. So, you know, hey, I have some unfinished tasks that I know I need to do this year. That's going to be your inbox. I know I got birthdays, holidays coming up. I need to write those things down. Those will be your monthly. My kids have soccer every week. That's going to be weekly. My child takes piano lessons every week. That's your weekly. I have a doctor's appointment just today, but I have all the other things from my week going on. That would be your daily. I want to keep a little track of my finances, but I don't want a whole finance planner. That would be your finance section. I might need to jot down some notes that the doctor told me or whatever. Those would be your notes and list section. Again, you may not need a social media section unless you're doing content, things like that. But this works for me. Now, I'm going to try to use my budget planner. Okay, so you see I have the dividers. I just have not labeled them yet. But when setting up my budget planner, again, I know I need to look at things in a yearly view, a broader view on a yearly way, okay? Monthly, I need to set monthly goals. I'm going to probably have a goal section in most of my planners. That's me. You don't need that. I have annual, which is the yearly, okay? Quarterly. And then monthly. As I was explaining before, I have to have a monthly calendar. Everybody don't use a monthly calendar. Everybody don't need that. I need it, okay? So then I get into monthly things here. Again, this is the month outside of another month. I like things weekly. Yearly, monthly, weekly. As you can see, this is what I mean. This is what I consistently do in every planner. And I think about it like this. Someone tell me to do it this way, or this is just the way my mind works. And I believe this is just the way my mind works. Yearly, monthly, quarterly, weekly. And that's the way it works. And everything in the back is just extra. And a lot of people don't like certain things in the back because they feel like they're going to forget it in the back of their planner. I don't. I know that it's back there. Like I said, my core things that I go to on a consistent basis is yearly things, monthly things, weekly things, and sometimes daily. But I don't need a daily in my budget planner. When you are formatting your planner, you want to be as precise. You want to be very, very intentional of how you set that planner up. Now, will you change your mind? Absolutely. And sometimes you may or you may not. But this planner, I promise you, have been like this. This business planner has been like this since 2024. When I decided to not do the budget box anymore, I had to take that section out. And it actually took me a minute to take that section out because I was in love with that section, but I was no longer doing the business, so it no longer served me. And when you're formatting your planner, and you've getting into the flow of your planner, you find yourself using the sections, and you have free will. You can say, hey, I haven't used my monthly in 2-3 months. I'm just going to take that out for now. Do that. Assess your planner consistently. I assess my planner. I took out something. I can't remember what it was I took out of here. It may have been my other planner. But if I find that I'm not using something, I'm like, it has to go. Let's just take it out. Especially because I'm at capacity, as you can see. But my planner has to be intentional. It has to be intentional. And I say that my planner is intentional due to the fact that it is formatted correctly. It's formatted correctly for me. This may not work for someone. That's the point of having a planner, that it has to work for you. Using someone else's planner, like if I gave you my planner for the day, you would be lost. Because it'd be pretty probably for you to interesting for you to look at, but you wouldn't know half of the stuff that I got in here because it's not formatted for you. I suggest starting with your dividers, writing down what you do on a yearly, monthly, daily, and weekly basis. And when you're setting up, just forget all of the dashboards for right now. Like I said, we'll get into that. That is definitely in the series. we'll get to all the pretty things, but we have to get to the real core of planning. And that's being intentional. That's setting your planner up for success so that you can be successful in your daily plans. So if you're using this planner, let's say you're trying to set up your EDC, your everyday carry, what will you have in there? What do you need every day that you'll be checking in that each section almost every day? If not, you don't have to go to every section every day, but what will you need in this everyday carry planner? And we'll be discussing inserts in part 3. But that is it for today. I just wanted to make sure that we went over how to format a planner. My A5, I think we talked about this in part 1. There are the dividers. I need dividers. Some people can probably have a planner with no dividers. I actually was going to use this planner, and I was like, hey, we can set this up together on here. But I do have a ton of videos of me setting up planners, so I'll be sure to link them in the cards. There's no need for me to set up an unnecessary planner because I kind of started this one and I just dug up a bunch of old things and threw it in here. And so all my planners are set up. I don't have a planner to set up, but I'll be sure to leave anything like that in the cards so that you can check it out. So I hope this series is being helpful for you. I hope this video helped you in some form or fashion. And if you have any questions, do me a favor, leave them in the comments section. I'll be happy to answer them, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.